Hi, this is Glenn with Crimson Lotus Tea. We are in Kunming. We're at our friend's tea shop, and we brought a very special tea to share. This is a spring 2017 single tree Gushu material from Lao Ban Zhang, and it's an exceptional material. And exceptional material like this is worth sharing with other people. So we brought it today, and there's a couple of us. We're going to sit down. We're going to try it together, and including the baby Gemma. The baby Gemma is here. So if you hear a little baby talking in the background, that's our little girl. We jokingly call her Xiao Lao Ban in Chinese. That means little boss. And she is our boss. So this is the material here, and it's a really nice looking material. It's incredibly aromatic, which is really nice. Lao Ban Zhang has really good material, but the problem is, in general, it's just overwhelmingly expensive, and this was an overwhelmingly expensive tea. So we bought just a kilo of it, and pretty excited to share it with everybody. We broke it up into a bunch of different samples, and selling them on our website for single session, 8 grams, and $22 for that session. So if you do happen to pick one or multiple of those up, make sure that you take the opportunity to drink it with friends, and it's definitely something that's worth sharing. This is a really aromatic tea. Even before I've put any water in it, just putting your leaf into a heated gaiwan actually really helps. Just kind of aromate things. Is that a word? Aromate's not a word. Just tends to humidify the leaf material a little bit, opens it up, warms it up, heats it up, adds a little bit of water into there. Humid environments actually help the nose. The nose can actually work better if things are a little bit more humid. And so sometimes you can smell things in the dry, a warming aroma that you won't notice once you actually start putting leaf material. Once you start putting water on the leaf material. So we're going to give this one a quick rinse, and we're going to get started brewing it. We've went to Lao Ban Zhang a couple years ago, and the road is really hard. It's very difficult to get to Lao Ban Zhang. The road is not paved, and a lot of big trucks travel it, and it gets really crowded. But then once you get there, it's incredibly well developed. It's definitely a surprise. A lot of the it's nice. Give this a smell. A lot of the expensive results of having an amazing tea like that is that the local village does really well. So the story with Lao Ban Zhang is Lao Ban Zhang was a really remote village for a long time. It still is a remote village, but one factory created a contract with the majority of the farmers, like 2006, 2007, sometime around there. And did I get that right? This is a new water heater. Oh, there we go. That's good. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out this new water heater, new brewing things. But I brought my gaiwan so that I can make sure that I test it at an equal level. Yeah, so one company created a contract with the majority of the tea farmers in Lao Ban Zhang, and that contract still exists. There were only a handful of families, like how many? Like only 26 different families, something like that. Very small number of families that didn't sign that contract, and those ones now can sell the tea for whatever they want. And those ones have a lot of really awesome material. This tea was processed by a friend of ours who grew up in the area, and she processed it herself. So she bought the material as a loose leaf, just picked from this single chain Lao Ban Zhang, and she processed it herself. There were only a couple kilos that were made, so we were pretty happy that we were able to get some of it. It's a very lucky frog.
好幸福，我的金蝉。现在他也是那么说的，那个金蝉今天很幸福。
What's that?
Very lucky frog. That's what
lucky
she
frog.
Said. The aroma is really good.
You can actually smell the fairness cup as well. after the material has been in there. As it cools down, you can sometimes get interesting aromas that are all part of the experience.
哦，好香，
以前我就闻到过这个香味，我最晓不得是人家跟我这种茶。
这个就很香了，但是普洱茶有很多种香味，就非常香，就是真正古树茶的那个幽香啊，很缠绵的，而且很浓的。
快把你这只叫来，和老板娘留下宝贝。
没关系，小老贝闻一闻就可以了。
So for quite a few years now, Lao Ban Zhang has been the most expensive pu'er tea. This year, I do believe that Bingdao took that crown away from Lao Ban Zhang. Some material in Bingdao actually cost more than the material in Lao Ban Zhang. And we're talking for like the really super high end, oldest tree in the mountain kind of thing, single tree stuff. Some of that material, astronomical, $40,000-$50,000 US per kilo. It's just ridiculous. This actually has some nice little color to it. This tea was actually processed very well. The tea's really, it's very full in the mouth. It really starts off with this aggressiveness, but it goes away really fast.
Oh, the flavor is so mouthful, so strong.
Yeah, it's something that you actually taste with your entire mouth.
我有这个味道特别浓，充盈整个口腔的。
It's really nice in the throat.
喉中，
对，喉中。Very thick and heavy body. 喝完了，整个这口腔都是有这个味道感。
对。
而且它那个苦味是一根下过来，不像其他人散。
知道吧？
Color is actually just a little bit richer. See if we can get it up to show up on here. It's really nice. It's got a very nice color to it. Very clean. Getting a definite energy buzz from it already.
说这个回甘从喉咙里开始来了。The sweetness is from silk.
Lot of throat sweetness. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not from tongue, it's from silk.
Yeah. Yeah.
这个你喉咙里已经印上去了。一般的茶是就会在口腔里面，就是填满部分。
它这个，我感觉这个茶其实根根下过来，还在慢慢上。
To feel the energy go all the way inside, then
Yeah.
came out together.
Interesting. No, this is really nice tea. It's definitely worth the experience if you can.
这茶汤特别饱满，
对吧？
特别饱满。
Very thick, thick, rich.
The experience is full, is what she's
Yeah.
trying to say.
Experience
Yeah,
is full,
yeah,
that's
it is. Yeah, no, she's right. It is a very full experience. Generally, like the
我现在生津的，
the single tree type material is often single tree material can often be somewhat linear in an experience. So it's interesting to be able to try a single tree material that has a lot of depth to it. This is definitely it's definitely a full experience, which is what she was just explaining.
神经是后半部分比较重，
是哪？
是啥？
是哪？口腔。
口腔这个后部这个口腔。
In some sessions that we've had with this tea before, it just brews forever. The entire experience kind of evolves through the steepings.
中茶没得馊的。
No astringency.
Yeah, no, she's right. There's no astringency. There's a bitterness that comes, but it goes away really quick.
对，涩味没有，但是就苦味，但是慢就不在了。
涩味嘛，这个。
涩味没有。
没得馊。
没得涩味，就是。
它那苦味是一点都不散，尝它后面那点勾味上回来了。
就全部下去了。
勾味上下来。
Yeah. No astringency. The bitterness in the mouth, just you swallow it, the bitterness go down, then right away together.
Yeah, they talk about a type of experience in tea here in Yunnan where the tea may lock your throat. They call throat locking, and so a good tea will just be, or I should say, a great tea will just be super smooth all the way down. You don't feel it getting stuck in the throat.
Very good throat feel.
And this tea is certainly like that. Has a bitterness, but as soon as it gets into the throat, it's just really smooth all the way down.
Cannot drink too much, she said. Otherwise, you'll get drunk.
She's gonna get tea drunk if she drinks too much. She's a professional.
你专业的。
You can look at the leaves now that they're opening up. Really nice color to the leaves as well. So with teas like this, one very present question is it worth it? You know, that's a hard question to answer. This tea is certainly a fantastic tea, and it's certainly a rare tea. You know, at a price like that, what you really get is you get that last like 5%. I could probably find other teas that are going to be 90% of what this tea is, but to really get that last like 10%, those last little bits, is something that you don't even realize is missing until you actually experience it. And sometimes some of that last little bit may actually be lost unless you know what you're looking for, unless you've actually sat down and tried a tea like this to see what those extra bits are. So you may have some impression that tea markets in China are a very peaceful, meditative place. That's not true. Tea markets are working markets, and there's tons of activity and business that's all happening around behind us. So if that makes it a little distracting, just got to focus on the tea.
Yeah, like a raining in the mouth.
It's very wet, yeah. So she described it as raining in the mouth.
Yes.
That's an interesting way to describe it. It is very moist. It's very wet. It doesn't dry the mouth. You know, you can have astringency in teas, and it can actually be kind of nice. I like some astringency in a tea, but if astringency is too much, it actually starts to dry the mouth, starts to tighten the pores in the skin. And a tea like this, it's just like produces like so much saliva.
我的手头都要被水淹了。
the more she drank, he said her tongue will be, drunk in the water. How do you say that?
Oh, it's like she's dipping her tongue in the water.
Yeah.
Nice. The leaves are fully opened up now, about 4 or 5 steepings in, and this tea has no.
Color is beautiful.
Yeah, really beautiful color. This tea has no indication of slowing down. It's actually pretty sweet in the mouth right now. Slightly fruity. There's definitely some floral notes there as well. Still has a lot of body. It's very relaxing tea. Very nice. Very enjoyable.
I feel like it's about to start it. That's my dad said. Even it's 7, 6 sticks.
5th, 6th, 7th steep. Dad thinks it's just getting started.
Yeah.
Probably. It takes a while for the leaves to actually have a chance to absorb the water. I mean, those first couple steepings are usually really interesting because you're getting different stuff out of it. But
这个茶含在嘴巴里面会忍不住会想揪它两下，感觉茶汤太好了。
The tea in the mouth, she can help to bite several times.
is that a good thing? If a tea makes you want to bite?
那这是好的事情吗？这个 Yeah.
Okay, all right.
There's so much going on in my mouth. Just keep going.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of complexity in this tea, and it's really hard to. It's almost. I think if I gave this tea out to somebody off the street who'd never had tea before, it would probably be too confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just there's so much happening there that.
这里面嘴巴不停地在发生变化，然后就层次性比较丰富。
是啊，我的这个口水是越来越多。
是的呢，这个就生津很多了。
舌尖更老明显，刷刷你就来了。
一层一层一层的。
那还没这个多，现在是越来越多。
This tea make my body really relax.
Makes me really relaxed too. My head's really my head's really warm right now.
Yeah.
There's a handful of different subvarietals of Camellia sinensis assamica that are in Lao Ban Zhang. So it is possible to have entirely different experiences from different teas that are in Lao Ban Zhang. There's some varietals that are much more bitter, and there's some varietals that are a little bit sweeter. This one's quite nice. This one's more on the bitter side, but again, that bitterness fades pretty quick. Most Lao Ban Zhang material is not is generally blended. You don't really see a lot of single tree type material. What they'll try and do is they'll try and identify pros and cons of material and actually blend it together to create something balanced, including using multiple mountains in the area. Lao Mana or Bang Pong, they'll create blends that actually may be better teas overall because it's very, very creatively and well blended together. But opportunities like this to understand what something is definitely worth it. You know, it's hard to appreciate a proper blend unless you know what might have gone into it. And it's definitely harder to create a blend unless you actually know what you're doing, what each of the individual materials can do. But this one, this tea is perfectly fine to drink on its own. This is a fantastic tea. So, like I said, we only bought a single kilo of this material. We're not going to press it. The cakes would be far too expensive. broke it all up into 8-gram sample sessions, and the idea is we want as many people as possible to be able to try it for a price that is not too unreasonable for a single session of amazing tea like this.
这个说话出来都是香气，完感觉满嘴。
What is that?
She said when she talking, she feel like she talking, and just the aroma is so good from her mouth.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that as well. As soon as I start to breathe out, it's really
对你喉咙你自己感觉的话，很舒服。
it's very cooling and calming in the throat. It's very nice.
And it just my throat, everything just come back again. And then,
Yeah.
I think the whole afternoon this aroma was starting in my throat.
It's really interesting. I watched a documentary on people who work in the soda beverage industry and how they. It was really interesting to watch how they construct flavor experiences. They would spend a lot of time with the different individual chemicals that you taste, and they would look around the world for different things. They'd travel to like a citrus grove, and they'd smell and they'd taste the things there. They'd try and replicate that in the lab. But it was really interesting to me that they were specifically looking for flavors that would be really vibrant and very present in your mouth and then completely disappear. Because if they have something like that, if they can construct a beverage like that, it makes you want to drink more. You taste it, that's amazing, but then that taste goes away. And so it was almost like a trick of the mouth, where they were trying to get you to drink more so that you would buy more, that you would have that really amazing early flavor experience. A tea like this is entirely opposite. Like, the flavor will sit in your mouth for hours and hours and hours. You'll continue, like every time you clear your throat for the next 4 or 5 hours, you'll taste different things from this tea again. And it's just an interesting observation of the differences between how beverages are created and produced.
It's still going in the color. Unbelievable.
So we're probably steeping 7 or 8 right now, probably close to 10. Still has a lot of really bright color into that. It's not as easy to see in that. There we go.
10泡。
对，我觉得快10泡了，颜色还是这个颜色。
She needs some silver cups. Does she have silver cups?
可是你有银杯吗？
Silver cups just make the tea just look
银
amazing.
杯照出来的颜色特别好看啊。对。
There we go. Yeah, we can see the color there in that picture. Yeah, it's quite nice, quite bright. A tea like this, you definitely want to be present for the experience. It's not something that you would just. This probably doesn't even qualify as a daily drinker. Actually, this could be good enough to be a daily drinker, if you could afford the material. It's quite nice. A lot of other single tree teas that I try usually aren't as uniquely balanced as this one is, and this is quite nice. But it is something that you want to, a tea like this, it's definitely something that you want to sit down and pay attention to, maybe take notes, just really try and get as much out of the experience as possible. And for sure, share it with friends. This would be a really great tea to buy for your, like a tea club. If any of you have people that get together once a month, once a week, something like that. For the price, it would be a pretty easy buy. Especially if you get a couple people together, have a nice little session and share it. especially for how generous this tea is. Even at $22 for 8 grams, mathematically it works out. Now, back in my younger days, I used to spend significantly more than that in alcohol in no amount of time, and I would not get a really long session like this out of it.
现在这个苦和其他的苦不一样，其他那个刮苦，但是苦这个苦很舒服。
滑得很快的。She said the bitterness of this one is different than the bitterness from other tea. The other tea, some bitter, just not that pleasant. The bitter is actually very pleasant to drink.
Yeah, like our like wild tree material often kind of has like that really aggressive bitterness.
No.
Yeah.
叶树叶树那不说这个。Yeah, this tea is very good. When I'm thirsty, I just drink it. 喉咙都是香的。
这种喝完以后会不会还是相当爽了的？
嗯，对。After this, drink a cup of water. That would be really good.
Yeah.
You can also describe this tea
This is a long one. I forgot it.
as a dancer. As a song, you dance through.
This is a long one. I steeped it long. I forgot about it.
这个是泡的比较长，他忘记了他在那里泡的。
You can tell I'm tea drunk. I completely forgot to put water in there, and so this is gonna be a nice long steep. It's actually not a bad experiment to do with tea.
I was hungry.
颜色跟是
最皮的是那种味道吧？
满嘴都是。
So a tea like this that gets that has just so much in the mouth and the throat. I don't know if you've ever experienced this before, but it's something worth trying with some teas that you've got. So drink a nice long session with a tea like this. Wait a half an hour, 15 minutes, something like that. Take a cup of water and drink it, and like that will be like the sweetest tasting cup of water that you've ever had. It's really amazing. So even just what's in your mouth and throat sits there long enough that it makes even changes the flavor of water afterwards.
真的是热，围着说话。
Yeah, my dad say he feels so hot, even his back is hot. And she said that's the Ban Zhang's king aggressive.
我现在实习的。
Her hands is wet too.
我围着说话。
对，这就茶气了。
我以为是一个是天气变。
My dad is that's when he thought it's the weather changing, but actually no. 这个就叫茶气哈。每个人发音的地方不一样，有些人在额头，有些人在背上。
我的学习纠正出来。
是那。
这就茶气。
对，就茶气了。Oh, it's still pretty good.
Yep.
Even when you overbrew it,
Yep.
it's so balanced this tea. Like what you said, this one
Yep.
doesn't need blend. It's just perfect stuff.
Yeah. So even I completely overbrewed that last steeping, and the tea was still fantastic. That's a certain it's a definite indicator of a quality tea, something that you can just push around and the tea still gives you a really nice experience. I've got some teas that I really have to be kind of got to handle them with kid gloves. I mean, the teas can be super aggressive, and each different steeping and each different session with them, you can have it wildly different. It's really nice and comforting to have a tea that you can sit down with and just brews really nice.
其实啊，香味就是到现在还没晓得，我们有花的。
The floral in the mouth is
Yeah.
still so rich, you know, when you drink it.
Yeah, we're past 10 steepings on this now, and it's very, very rich tea. It is nice to be able to take the opportunity to inspect the leaves. This stuff was actually processed quite well. It's nice to be able to look at the leaves and see. Check out how the processing was done. Check out how the picking was done. It's one of the advantages of drinking it as matcha is as soon as you press something into the cake, it sometimes loses. You break it out of the cake and it's all crushed and stuff like that. So it's nice to be able to look at the big leaves before they get all torn up. And these are nice. These are really nice. So here's a fun task for anyone who picks up this tea. If you pick up this tea from us, if you buy it and you get it, film yourself having a session with it. Record your thoughts and your experience and post it to YouTube. It'd be really fun if everybody could drink and share this tea at the same time. I think that would be a lot of fun. We're going to continue drinking this tea, and if something interesting happens in the tea later on, I'll film that as well. If not, I appreciate you guys joining us for this session and having a chance to kind of sit down and drink tea with us. That's always a lot of fun. Post comments below, post questions if you have them, like and subscribe. We do appreciate that. Got a lot more videos coming. Thanks for watching.